Okay, there we go. What's going on, CH family? Hope you guys are all having an amazing day so far. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys here on my screen. We're going to be going over on stress eating. Okay, so if you have a very stressful life, if you deal with a lot of stress, today we're going to be talking about exactly how we can properly handle that. Let me just make sure. See my screen. Okay, perfect. So let's dive in here. So this is a training that I did on our wine and waistlines master, our 4-day intensive challenge the other week, a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to share with you guys this section here on exactly like the three patterns, I guess you could say, that we go through when trying to change any kind of habits. So specifically stress is what we're talking about today. So diving in. So as you can see, there's the trigger, there's the action, and there's the reward. This is the typical cycle that we have when it comes to having any kind of pattern, bad habit, stress eating, whatever it may be. So there's a trigger, action, and reward. Now, the trigger is typically, let's say you go to work, you have a very stressful day at work, or you wake up in the morning, you get some bad news, and it stresses you out. All right. So that's a trigger. So some stressful event, something causes the stress to happen. Then there's the action. So the action would be like, okay, well, I'm dealing with all this stress. How do I handle this stress? Through eating, right? So comfort food, so snacking. And there's the reward. What is the reward? Is that you feel better, right? You feel better. You feel that feeling after you have the carbs. It feels really good. And that's the typical cycle that happens when it comes to this. So I'm going to teach you guys exactly how we can break that pattern there, because it can go such a long way. When it comes to a lot of people's weight loss, those who are actively working on their weight loss consistently, who are determined to make this change happen, a lot of time they're just a few fixes away from really making some amazing changes in your health and fitness. So this can be one of them, right? Because let's say, we do good all week and then we have that just a terrible stressful day and we end up just giving into like a bunch of pizza, wherever it may be. I'm not against pizza, not at all. I still have pizza myself, but it's about balance, right? And if we add that in and it's not aligned with our calorie amount, then we completely sabotage the results, all that hard work. It's like the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of our actions will really produce 80% of the results. That's why I want to teach this today. So here's the steps. Is number one is that, before the trigger even happens, before this pattern even happens, we want to try to set ourselves up for success as much as possible. When I say set yourself up for success, what I mean by that is like control what you can control, right? A lot of things in our lives we can take control of and help us reduce our stress, anxiety as much as possible. For example, in the morning, when we wake up in the morning, if we wake up in the morning and we instantly check our phones, all the anxiety that comes from our phones, if we instantly start thinking about our problems, we're rushing to work, so things aren't smooth, having caffeine too early, just like getting that rush too quickly. If we do all these little things where we could have control over, we're causing so much stress before a day even starts. This is why I'm a huge, I always talk about how, if you can win the morning, you'll win the day. That's saying. If you have a strong morning routine, it's really going to help set yourself up for success. So that's the biggest first area to focus on, is like, what can I do before these triggers happen to help me reduce my stress or whatever kind of pattern we're trying to eliminate. So for this one, stress. Okay, well, what can we do before we even get to work to help us control our stress? Well, we can make sure that, first of all, we can make sure we can work out in the morning. That helps tremendously with stress levels. Move our bodies. We can make sure we have a morning routine so we're not rushing to work. Let me just make sure the audio is good here. Okay, perfect. So yeah, we can have a morning routine to make sure that we're not rushing to work. So that way everything's smooth, we're control, we got our lunch, everything's packed, we're feeling good. We could have a morning routine where we meditate. So I've been posting like my daily morning routine almost every single day, showing you guys what I do, because I deal with stress and anxiety as well. I deal with normal life stuff as well. But these practices that are in place help me get my stress, all those things under control, so that way I can really approach the day and be able to handle the stress. Because imagine going to work and you're already super stressed out, you're in traffic, you're wondering if you're going to make it to work on time. Maybe the food that you had before didn't make your guts feel too good. And then you get to work and then all this load comes on to you. Maybe your kids are calling and they're having a stressful situation. All this stuff, we're not prepared to handle it. And the next thing you know, we get all the stress bundled up, and then we go home and we overeat, we snack, whatever it may, we grab the fast food on the way home, we self-sabotage. right? So that's what we say is try to control the stress before it even happens. Okay, try to really set ourselves up for success before the stress and life events even happen. Okay, so again, a few examples below. Working in the mornings, meditation in the mornings can help tremendously. Meditation helps because what it does is that it helps show you that you are not your thoughts, helps kind of put you in the present moment. And when you're in the present moment, there's no pain, right? Because usually we suffer, we stress, we struggle because we're living in the future. We're worrying about what's possibly going to happen, which 80% of the time it doesn't happen. Or we're stressed about, or anxious about something that happened in the past. We don't want it to happen again, or we just think about it, right? So meditation shows you that you are not your thoughts. It helps you keep present. That's why I really love meditation. We can work on our mindsets daily, just our self-talk. We can focus on our breathing patterns. Breathing is very, very good for anxiety and stress. Having food prepared and controlling your energy, which means like controlling your environment. What are you listening to? That goes from podcasts, news, social media, like staying away from propaganda. All that stuff there can play a huge role. And then it comes time to actually changing the pattern. Okay, easy process to figure out when you really slip up in like your patterns is 3-step process: reflect, replace, and reinforce. Basically, trigger, action, reward. Right? We got to reflect. Find why is the stress happening, really get that cleared in. Then find out, okay, well, when do I stress eat? When does the stress actually affect me? Okay, well, I'm stressing at nighttime when everyone's asleep and I'm alone and I get my me time back. Boom. Okay, now we're really pinpointing it down so we can actually fix the problem, right? So the next step is replace. That comes into action. So if you find that you get stressed out and it's at work, well, then after work, if we know that we're going to stress eat and snack, right? This is where we can replace the pattern. What I would immediately suggest someone to do when it comes to this pattern here, if you get stressed out at work, have a quick breathing practice that you can do. There's a few quick ones that take just a few seconds to help you get your stress under control. That's one thing I would suggest to instantly do. The next thing I would suggest is to bring snacks or a protein shake with you, or that somewhere where you can keep. So that way, as soon as you get done work, to gulp that down to help you at least fight off your hunger hormones. Right? So if we can do that, that's going to help us keep a little more full. And then what I would suggest is either go out to nature for a quick 10-minute walk. We all have 10 minutes. We can all get that done. Or go work out if you do have the time, if you didn't do it in the morning, to habit stack and do it right after work. That will change so much for you, because when you go do those things, you're going to have positive actions for yourself. You're going to release the stress. You're going to feel so much better, but more positive actions crave more positive actions. So if you do that, it's going to really help you keep on track there and get rid of that pattern of the stress eating. Okay, because we're doing good for ourselves, we're releasing the stress, we're changing up the pattern. And then what we need to do is we need to reward ourselves in a positive way, right? Not just like, okay, I did it, so now I'm going to go order that food now. No, we want to reward ourselves in positive ways. So maybe if you do it for a whole week, get yourself something, a reward, a gym pass, or whatever it may be. If we do it for a month, maybe a new pair of gym shoes or a new pair of jeans, something like that we want to fit into. Reward yourself so it influences you to want to keep doing it over and over again. And then basically just remember that when it comes to changing these patterns, it's not going to happen overnight, and the pattern's not going to be magically fixed. But one second here. But how it happens is that basically look at this pattern as just almost like it's a connection in your brain. Your brain has this connection. It's a pattern that has consistently happened over and over again. So it's like you have these neurons that are basically connected. When you change the pattern, when you interrupt it over and over and over again, it's basically separating these apart and forming new ones. So once you change that habit and you get into a new habit of exercise or controlling the stress in different ways and cutting out that stress eating, eventually it won't even be a struggle, because it's not going to be who you are and what you do, right? That'll be different. So that is exactly how it works when it comes to breaking a stress pattern, okay? If you can't find your stress eating a lot, you're not sure how to break the pattern, there's a very simple, clear way on exactly how you can do it. And one thing I want to share with you as well, if you are having a very stressful time, if your weight loss and your health journey and your fit journey is stressful, right? If it's something that's very stressing you out, some cases are different, but I'd almost argue that our frame of mind is in the wrong place then if we are stressed. If you think about it, why should you be stressed out when it comes to progressing, getting better, feeling better, having better energy, loving yourself more, better looks, all these things? Why would that be stressful on the way there? It's only stressful because of the way we look at it, right? A lot of time, you know, and this is why I think a lot of people struggle to lose and keep weight off, is that we are our own worst enemies. Either the self-doubt kicks in, the fear of change, you know, oh, what are my friends going to think about me? What if I fail? All these thoughts start creeping into our minds and eating up our minds and just dragging us back to our old ways, right? Because where your focus goes, where your energy flows. So if you always think about those negative thoughts, it's going to drag us back. But also the idea of like, you know, I always say, be your own best friend. And what that means is like on this weight loss journey, there's no need to judge yourself. If you have a bad week, be accountable, be your own best friend, right? Pick yourself back up, be honest with yourself. But there's no need to judge yourself and to hate on yourself and say like, I can't do this, right? So this is why I think support and accountability can be so helpful to kind of reframe our minds and have that reassurance that like, you're still on the right track, because one bad week doesn't mean a bad life. If you want your weight loss to be a lifestyle, we need to have that frame of mind, because the lifestyle approach is just who you are and what you do. Ups and downs happen. It's a part of the journey. The dieting mindset is like, I got to get there overnight. I'm not good enough if I don't get there. If I mess up, I got to be perfect. I got to 0 to 100. It's never going to last. That's a quick way to burn out, fall off track, and go back to square one again. So if you want a lifestyle, I suggest switch the frame of mind on how you approach this journey. Okay, progress over perfection. So that's the training for today, though, y'all. I'm just going to check Instagram real quick. I'm streaming right now on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. But I'm just going to check real quickly if there's any questions here. And if not, we will end off our training for today. Okay, there's no questions. So last thing I want to share with y'all is that if you do want the recordings for the whole Wine Wastelands, like here's just one example. That's just one example. If you guys want all the recordings, we did the whole thing. There's 4 master classes on this, super powerful stuff. Message me Wine, WINE, personally message me that. And then if you guys want that, so I'll send that over to you, and it's like a whole master class, like it's all listed in it if you guys want the whole thing. So message me Wine if you guys want the whole Wine and Wastelands Challenge master classes, and I'll send that over to you personally. But I hope you enjoyed this training. I hope this was helpful. Keep showing up for yourselves, because I promise it's all gonna be worth it at the end of the day. Keep moving forward. All right, y'all. I'll see you next time.